Well, good evening. Good evening. Happy Tuesday, and welcome to another edition of the Leadership Edge. I'm your host, Dr. P. Ronald Wilder. This podcast, The Leadership Edge, is dedicated to all things leadership. It's our desire and goal to give you nuggets and to equip you with leadership tools and principles that will give you that edge you need in your leadership. Thus, the name of our podcast, The Leadership Edge. We want you to be the very best leader that you can be. And I'm telling you, you are needed because there's a leadership dearth in our land. We need better leaders. We need more excellent leaders. And this podcast is designed to help fill that void. Amen. Well, great. I trust you had a great day. I hope that your day was victorious and joy-filled, and you defeated Satan on every hand, and you are here now winding down, eating dinner, and what better way to go out than to get a few leadership nuggets, amen, from the doctor himself. So great. Appreciate you, amen, for tuning in. Now listen, before we get into the podcast, into the teaching session of it, ask you to do a couple of things. Number one, wherever you're watching from, hit the like, share button. If you have not done that, you're probably watching on Facebook, BGTV Studios, or the YouTube channel. Hit the share button. Share is very important. Why? Because every one of us have a reach on our social media that goes to a certain place. Yours go places mine don't go. Bill's go places John's don't go. Sally's go places Susie's don't go. If we all share, we get a great reach. So go ahead and share, because our desire is to blanket our country, to blanket our continent, and ultimately blanket the globe with BGTV Studios. We can do that if we get enough of us helping and sharing. So go ahead and share. You watch it on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Subscribe to BGTV Studios, be a subscriber. On our YouTube, you'll be able to look at all the podcasts. There are over 40-some podcasts, I believe, on this platform now. Some great ministers and men and women and young people with great messages and platforms that will bless you. So you can go back. It's like it's like a university. You get a college education if you just take a day and binge on the podcast. Be surprised the information you get. So that's on YouTube. Get that and do that, okay? God bless you. Thank you for doing that. Don't forget to comment on us. Let us know where you're watching from. Bill from Baltimore, Sally from Seattle, wherever you're watching from, let us know. And also comment during the podcast. All right, let's talk about leadership. Now, we've been on this journey for the last 2.5 months talking about building the dream team, okay? We want to pick up today and see where that takes us. Amen. We're getting to the end of it, but it's just good information we've given. The idea is, if you are a leader and you're building a team, we are trying to show you how to build that team and what needs to be built into the fiber of that team. If you are just a leader, you're not the main leader, but you're part of a team, we want to show you how to be a dream team member, how to be a part of a dream team, what you need to exhibit, what talents, what gifts, what attitudes, okay? I myself, I have a dual role. I'm a leader who's developed a team and developing a dream team. At the same token, I am part of a team in the associations that I'm connected to. So I'm being a dream team member. So I'm a member of a team, and I also lead a team. So some of us get that benefit of being dual, having the dual role. Others, you just have the single role. You may just be the leader, not part of another team, or you just may be a team member. Either way, what we're talking about can help you, bless you, and increase you, okay? Now, we were talking about leadership growth on our last podcast, how the team has to keep growing. I keep emphasizing that because I meet so many leaders who, for whatever reason, they get to a place that they think they have arrived. And that's probably the worst place to get. That maybe the worst word in leadership is arrival. I'm there. There is no arrival. Okay, you never arrive. If we're talking real leadership, you never arrive. Okay. If you were going, we have a ship that we sent up into space over 50 years ago, I think 1976. I forgot what it's called. And it's been going for 50 years, traveling somewhere around 20,000 miles per hour. Think about that, for 50 years traveling at 20,000 miles per hour. Just right near the end of last year, it finally reached the 16 billion mile mark. So that machine that we sent up in 1977 is actually right now 16 billion miles away from Earth. Okay? You know what scientists said? It has just now traveled a light day, not a light year, a light day. The distance light travels in one day. Okay, a light year is the distance light travels in a year, which is 4.5 trillion miles. It's only at 16 billion. One day. It's only traveled the distance that light goes in one day. And guess what? It is nowhere near the apex. If it travels for the next 10 billion years, guess what? It won't hit nothing. Because there's no end of the universe. There's no apex. Leadership is the same way. No matter how much you travel, you don't arrive. You just keep going and keep going and keep learning, keep growing. That's what we have to do. So keep that in your mind. Now, so we were talking about training and feedback and mentoring, which were very good. But also another thing that a dream team has to have in its growth mechanism, and that is leadership reproduction. Now, one of the things that I have seen, and one of the weaknesses I've seen with most leadership teams, and I've even had to not fight this, but guard against this in my own team, is that we do good developing the first generation of leaders, okay? But we don't do as good in leadership reproduction, okay? Part of the reason is because when you reproduce, you are training someone to replace you. And the truth of the matter is, guess what? Most people don't want to be replaced because they feel they're losing something. Well, the success of anything is having a successor. You know, the children of Israel got to the promised land because there was a succession. Moses got them out of Egypt, but Moses transferred leadership to Joshua, and Joshua took him to the promised land. You know, there is no success without a successor. Okay? So we should always be reproducing others, training others to pick up the reins. Okay. Years ago, when I was younger, when I first got to Birmingham, I came in 1990. I was always an athlete. I played every sport growing up. Although I was small, I love sports. My best sport was baseball. I was one of the best baseball players in my hometown. Okay. Well, when I got to Birmingham, I was like 30 years old when I first came here in 1990 and planted Covenant Church. One of the first thing I got involved in athletically is slow pitch softball. That was big back then, men's slow pitch softball. So I started playing, went over to Green Springs up on the hill at Green Springs, the park, and joined the team. So I became, got a little reputation around town, who this new guy in town. I was a good ball player, and so anyway, I loved it, right? And so then I got on one of the better teams in the city. I played on one of the better teams, and we started playing in the circuit. They had the circuit called BSA, Black American Softball. Okay, so we would go play softball tournaments around the South. We'd go to Atlanta, Nashville, Huntsville was a big one, Jackson, Mississippi, all the places like that. And then at the end of the year, they would have a world tournament, maybe in St. Louis or Houston or Detroit, like that. It's called the Black American World. The goal was to win the Black American World. I'm not talking about the winning out. That's not what I want to do. Here's what I remember very plainly. After I've been doing this for several years, I was maybe now about 40. So I'm at about 40, and we were in Huntsville, at the big tournament in Huntsville. And I was talking to one of the guys who was on the board of the Black American Association, who helped found it. And he looked at me, and we was talking, and he said this to me. He said, this is great. This is a great organization. He said, but it's going to be gone in 15, 20 years. I said, gone? What do you mean gone? Man, look at this. There are thousands of people out here. There are hundreds of teams here. He said, yeah, look at it. He said, but look. He said, how old are you? I said, I'm 40. He said, look at everybody else out here. Everybody here is 40. He said, do you see any 20-year-olds? Do you see any 25-year-olds? Do you see any of that? I said, no. He said, just my point. They don't have the young people coming behind to pick up the reins and keep it going. But I couldn't see it at that moment. I thought he was just off. And I said, there's no way this can come to an end. Well, guess what? It didn't even take 15 years. 10, 12 years later, it was almost non-existent because they didn't bring younger players. And it just died out. The whole organization died. Exactly like the guy said. You know why? Didn't have a succession plan. You're a leader and you're leading a team, but you're not going to stay young forever. You're not going to be there forever. If you want that thing to last beyond you, you got to begin training the next generation of leaders. Got to do that. It's got to be leadership reproduction. You got to be looking, who are we developing? Who can replace us? I remember there was a time in my church when I had to do all the preaching. I couldn't miss a Sunday because I didn't have nobody skilled enough or trained enough to handle things when I wasn't there. So sometimes, I don't care where I was in the country, I'm getting back Sunday morning. There have been times I have driven through the night coming from a service, a preaching engagement, or whatever I was at to get back on Sunday morning. Sometimes service at 10 o'clock, I arrive in Birmingham at 9, take a quick shower and get to church. This is what I felt I had to do. I couldn't maintain that forever. So I developed people. Now I got people that can, I did something, I think it was last year, that I have never done in the 30-year history of Covenant Church International. I missed an entire month of Sundays. Some of it I was preaching. Some of it my son plays travel baseball. I went to some of his games, and that you went to your son's game on a Sunday? Yes, I'm a dad first, okay? They grow up, they get out, they trust me, church gonna be there, okay? But your kids, they grow up so fast and you miss it. But I was there, but I missed the whole month. Guess what? Nothing stopped. Church didn't close down. Offerings didn't nosedive. Everything went as though I was there. Why? Because I had developed my next level leaders. They knew I trained them to do everything I can do. Now they got their own style of preaching and ministering, but the things that I do that they have to do on Sunday morning, they are trained to do each of those things. And so, as far as that, I wasn't missed. But you only get that by reproducing. Why? Because healthy leaders, now I'm talking about healthy leaders, because all leaders are not healthy. And if you're trying to hold on to something and never want to train nobody because you're afraid they're going to take your position, that's not health. That's not health. Because healthy leaders, they plan to be replaceable. They want to be replaced eventually. Okay, they want to be in a position where they got somebody. There's a Joshua waiting in the wings. I'm not saying Joshua was with Moses for a long time. He didn't just take over the moment. No, he served Moses. Your Joshua doesn't mean that they're going to move you out the way tomorrow. It just means they're in place. So when the time comes that you need to step aside, you can step aside. I know leaders who cannot step aside. I know pastors who are up in age, who have never trained, who cannot step aside because they have not reproduced. Leadership is about reproduction. Okay? You have to reproduce. So you got to be thinking, who can we reproduce? Who can we develop? It's just like in umpiring. I'm the president of the association here in Birmingham, the largest. I'm president of the largest umpire association in the state of Alabama. And every year I look at I'm Sometimes I go evaluate games. I find out the umpires who I see a talent, skills. That's the next one. We got to get him. We got to bring him up. And my goal is to get them to the playoffs and to the regional and to the state. And we take them a little bit by little bit. Why? Because I don't want to have to go to the state every year. I don't have to go to the regional every year. I want others to come up. That's what leadership is all about. Reproducing. Okay? Look at on your team. Look at in your leadership portfolio. Who's around? Who's in your leadership sphere that you can say, hey, that's the next one we're gonna bring up, and you start bringing them into the fold. You don't give them everything at once. You can't give a baby a chicken bone. Okay? You have to break it up and all that. Then that there'll come a time they'll know how to eat it. So even leadership, you can't give them too much instantly. You just bring them up and slowly work them in, because you don't want to overwhelm them. Now, so after we begin to develop, and after we have begin to train and bring up the next generation, we got to end with shared wins and shared losses. Okay? Shared wins and shared losses. We celebrate together. Celebrate your wins. Sometimes we feel like we only want to celebrate a big win. If a team wins by 20, or if a team wins by 1, at the end of the day, they won. Doesn't matter how much or how less. It's a win. If you win by 20, you don't get no extra win for that. It's not like we won by 20, so that counts as 2 wins. No, it's still 1 win. If you win by 50, still 1 win. If you win by 1, still 1 win. So we celebrate. So whatever victory you get as a leadership team, as an organization, as a church, as a ministry, celebrate, no matter how small. It's very important to celebrate your wins, okay? And then if we lose, guess what? We take responsibility together. We don't blame. Okay? We don't throw blame. I've seen enough games, enough sports to know that, let's say a person makes an error in the last inning and that lets the winning run score. Well, that didn't lose the game. You know why? Because there's a whole lot of things happening in the other 9 innings that affected that game just as much as that did. We just don't think about it because this happened at the end. So if I missed the ball, I didn't lose. Guess what? The whole team lost. You with me? So as a leader, you have to take responsibility together. I give you a case in point. That's my time. A couple of years ago, we were in the state tournament. There's 3 of us umpires on the field. And one of my partners made a mistake that cost the team a game. Okay? He botched it. He botched it bad. We've all made mistakes, but he made a big one. Now, it cost the team a game. The coach came to talk to me, and he was explaining this was after the game. He was going through his little, spiel. I could have easily said, Coach, you saw me out there. That wasn't my fault. My partner messed up. I could have easily said that to get the heat off of me. It's not what I did. I said to the coach, we failed you on this one. We made a mistake. I immediately said we, because we as a team failed. Not just that guy, we as a team failed. We failed you. We made a mistake. But I can promise you we'll correct it the next time. See, it's always we. You got to keep the language right. We win as a team, we lose as a team. We don't take blame. I took responsibility for something I wasn't even involved in. But because I was part of the team, it affects me there. That's how dream team players think. I've seen people throw puppy on. No, he did it. She did it. It's your fault. No, we don't throw blame. We win as a team. We lose as a team. We learn as a team. We don't blame. We don't throw blame. Okay? We take responsibility. Now, at the same token, we build a culture that we can teach in. So So when we make mistakes, we pull people to the side and say, okay, we made a mistake here. What can we learn from this? What's the teachable moment here? What's the teachable moment here? That's what you have to do. Take mistakes and use them as teachable moments rather than to berate and bash the person that made the mistake. Because here's the deal. They feel bad that they messed up. I've made mistakes in a game or in an umpiring situation, and when you make it and you feel bad about it. So you don't need nobody else coming telling you how bad you made. What's the teachable moment here? What can we learn from this situation? That's the culture you have to build. See, true dream teams, they build a culture. Okay, there's a culture they develop. The culture is, number one, we're relational. Number two, we're committed one to another. Number three, again, we're part of a team. We're connected. We win together, we lose together. We don't throw blame, we don't point fingers. And so when people come in, they come into that culture. You don't let them affect that culture. If they can't fit it, then they can't be a part of the team. You don't shift your culture. I don't care how gifted or talented somebody may seem to be. You don't shift your culture to allow them to come in and you have two sets of rules, one for them and one for everybody else. No. It's better sometimes to let a very gifted person go their way than to let your culture be sabotaged. And I've seen it happen both ways. I've seen people allow someone to come into their culture who didn't fit their culture, who didn't want to submit to their culture. And that person told the whole team, told the whole culture. Okay. And I've seen others where it happened and they let the person go. They were talented, they were gifted, but hey, I'd rather have what I have and the culture than to have the problems that this talent person brings. Sometimes the talent isn't worth the problem. The talent isn't worth the headache. Okay? You have to stand on your principles, on your morals. So as a dream team, you build a culture. So let's bring this to an end. So here's the thing. When we talk about dream team, here's a closing sentence we can use to shut down or to close out what we've been talking about on the Leadership Edge here about the dream team. A dream team leadership team is built on shared vision. We all share the same vision. It's built on strong character. We are all men and women of character. Complementary strengths. We all have different strengths, but the strengths complement one another. Clear roles. We all know our assignment. We know what we're supposed to do. We know our role. And guess what? We stay in our lane. I don't try to be you. You don't try to be me. I don't try to do your job. You don't do my job. And here's the key point, and deep trust. We all trust each other at the highest level. It's sustained by humility, accountability, and constant growth. So let me read that without the commentary. A dream leadership team is built on shared vision, strong character, complementary strengths, clear roles, and deep trust. It is sustained by humility, accountability, and constant growth. And with that, my time is up. Thank you for yours. And that, my friends, is how you build a dream team. So now go ahead and do it. Go back and listen to all 10 of these. Get the notes and begin to build your team. Or if you're a team member, get the notes, become a better team. Add value to your leadership team. Listen, don't forget to visit my website, www.pronaldwilder.com. There you'll be able to get my book, The ABCs of Leadership. Stop by my shop page while you're on that website. And you can gather the bundle package with all the leadership teachings on it. This is your best buy there. Download some of the others, but you can just get this and get everything Don't forget also there's a link on there. You can go back and listen to all our podcasts here on BGTV Studios or right there on the website. You can listen to those. There's a link for that. Okay, so visit that, www.pronaldwilder.com. Listen, as I close, don't forget, as always, this is a great platform, BGTV Studios, that God has raised up. It's a great place to sow. It is fertile ground. You can reap a harvest by sowing in here. There's several ways to give. It's going to pop on the screen for you. You can go to www.bgtvstudios.com/give. Take it to the website. There'll be 3 platforms to give there. You can give on the website. I think there's Venmo and there is PayPal. Not PayPal, Cash App. And you can give right there on the website. Website's highly encrypted. You won't be compromised or anything like that. All right. God bless you. Thank you so very much for being a supporter. Pray about being a good one-time gift, or become a monthly supporter. God will bless you for it. Listen, my time is up. Thank you for yours. We'll see you next Tuesday. This is your host, Dr. P. Ronald Wilder, reminding you that leadership matters and leaders lead. Have a good week. I'll see you next Tuesday.